The people behind Dune Prophecy heard your complaints about how boring the first 3 episodes were and open up the 4th episode with 21 seconds of a character washing their face and staring in a mirror. Also, how sanitary could this sink setup possibly be? Who's keeping the area the water's flowing over clean? How is the entire sisterhood not constantly trying to figure out who's giving who pink eye?
This isn't funny.
What the TVSins team, along with the entire viewing audience, has been saying for the first 3 episodes somehow makes its way into episode 4. Does everybody in this universe carry a knife just in case? Even when sleeping? How often do throats need to be slit in the Duneverse? Who's cleaning up all that blood? Hopefully not the same person who has sink duty. Jen discovers that everyone's having nightmares, but Sho doesn't have the robotic balls to make Freddy Krueger the nightmare culprit. They already introduced the worms that possessed him and Freddy's dead, the final nightmare and everything. Dune Prophecy had an in, and they blew it!
It's all right. It was just a dream.
Trying to sell your friend on it was just a dream after she wakes up in the midst of trying to slit her own throat open.
Aunt Valia, I can't believe this is the first time we've had you at our table.
I can't believe the series expects me to know who these men are.
Ousted from the palace, nowhere to go but the family she shunned.
Valia didn't shun her family. She was kicked out, remember? That's like boycotting a store and then getting mad when they don't send the coupons anymore.
What happened at the royal engagement?
That Richese boy was murdered.
They're starting to refer to it as the Red Wedding. Not sure where they got that name from, but the execs, the kingdom, the Duners seem to think it will stick.
What are you after, Harrow?
Better incentives for the whale fur trade?
Having access to getting anything you could ever want and wasting that ability on further investment in the whales with the fur. I bet if Harrow ever got a genie and 3 wishes, one of those wishes would be for more math assigned at sand school, and the other 2 wishes would be wasted on black licorice and more facial hair. F***ing Harrow.
He's afraid that the other houses laugh at him.
Gonna guess having 99.5% less of his conversation be about the whale fur trade would increase those odds in Harrow's favor quite a bit.
Never had such riches.
Inviting a child murderer to eat breakfast with the family. I understand wanting to keep Desmond Hart on the Emperor's good side is a useful weapon, but it's not like Palpatine invited Vader to eat breakfast with him and Rey's parents every morning.
What bothers me is the disrespect. We're talking behind my back.
That is the definition of a rumor.
Inez Corrino would be the princess of TVSins, and she wouldn't have to marry a child to get that appointment.
There's no proof the boy was murdered. It's absolute nonsense.
Mark wrong.
Your new attack dog murdered Pruitt.
Being this upset about the fiancé's murder when Emmeline threatened to gut him like a pig if he didn't get rid of his little robot toy.
Reverend Mother Tula, there are stories about Mother Dorothea.
The Dune franchise is 63% your mom stories, and not nearly as funny as that statistic should warrant.
The governing body of the landslide brings stability to our growing imperium.
Governing body to check the Emperor's power sets up a pretty cool political minefield and introduces fascinating possibilities to this world. So here's a sin for waiting until episode 4 to introduce your Landsrad. Wasn't very rad of you to do that.
What you seek, seeking you.
Holy books with text that even a fortune cookie factory would have rejected.
My father, when he walked into a room, all eyes would look at him.
Using the daddy issues crutch in place of actual character development.
Time to snuff a fire out.
Is when a fool lights a match. Not after your house burns down around you.
Are matches still used in this future? What advanced technology exists outside of spaceships? Everything in this universe seems extremely similar to what we have now.
Don't trust you.
We can all trust this, though. 10 million Solari.
Citation needed.
Don't call me jury, don't worry for nothing.
I don't know who they is, but they should be able to come up with better nicknames, or they should be called the Terrible Nickname Police.
This will do all the things you want, but better.
It's too bad the Dune people banned all thinking machine devices. What one wouldn't give at this point for a thinking device that is able to track when another thinking device is being used? I guess no one thought to think of that thinking device, I think.
So no issues with the Ixion.
That's Exist.
Making the Imperium better comes at a cost. You ready to pay it?
Sounds like the people who will die in the explosion will be paying the cost. Unless this knockoff Elijah Michelson is going to stay behind in the blast.
The rebels are using a thinking machine.
Believing that calling your AI a thinking machine will make it sound cooler and less cliche. Did the Terrible Nickname Police come up with this term as well?
Is there truth in this rumor of the boy's death?
Our mentats calculate the odds of immolation by toy malfunction at 1 in 2.5 million.
Answering a question, any question, with math.
Where to launch a formal inquiry is within the power of the great houses.
And if that inquiry yields no wrongdoing by the Emperor?
then it could be perceived that whomever launched the accusation is challenging his rule.
A treasonous act. Our house cannot suffer such a risk.
So the great houses can investigate the emperor, but if he's proven innocent of charges, whoever launched the investigation committed treason? This makes less sense than the American justice system, and that's a low bar to clear.
Shouldn't you be out doing what you sisters do?
Valia should add dramatic timing to her list of what are appearing more and more to be unstoppable powers.
House Harkonnen's new truthsayer.
Impressive.
It's impressive that his aunt came to visit? Wait until this guy finds out about family reunions. Gonna blow his mind.
With your robust trade experience in whale fur...
Expecting me to take an episode seriously that has uttered the words whale and fur together twice.
The past branded us, but the future can redefine our name.
As long as you can wait about 10,000 years.
The spice will help you open your mind's eye.
An institute that encourages students to do drugs. The sin is how pissed I am this college didn't exist when I was a student.
Now, take your charcoal.
This drawing while on drugs section of the episode charcoals on for all the some time.
Open your eyes.
If only there was some kind of voice that one could use to order their students to awake from the shared nightmare. Oh, if only.
They choose where they want the future to go.
Technically, we all choose where we want the future to go by making decisions. The future is simply the consequences of humanity's choices. I didn't need 3.5 episodes of hyperbolic nonsense spewed at me to understand that concept.
All right. We purged the sins of the Imperium, but tonight, let us be the sinners.
We will choose who are and aren't the sinners, thank you. That's kind of in our title and everything.
You're never gonna last if you don't allow yourself a little fun along the way. That's never been my problem.
Episode has time for this.
Warren Atreides was offered the throne and rejected it.
Not sure I want to give the people behind this any new ideas, but with that being said, I'd love to watch a series about Vorian and the machine wars he stopped instead of whatever the this is.
Sometimes you have to burn a thing down before you can save it.
Celebrating potential arsoning. Also, while there aren't actual dragons on this series, or at least not yet, that line sounds so Game of Thrones, I'm still going to ding the out of it.
Your talent.
It's not a talent.
It's a last resort.
Stealing Papa Roach is one talent. It's all they have, people. Well, maybe getting away with murder. No, you know what? Last resort is all they have. Don't you dare bring up scars. I will burn it all down if you bring up scars.
Well, then we must tell everyone before it consumes us all.
If we did that, Sister Avila, it would cause hysteria.
The show thinks it's being clever by having Tula and Avila switch places on the whole "this would cause hysteria" response, and I invite Dune Prophecy to contemplate how little I give a shit.
We cannot hide this from our sisters.
How could they hide this from the sisters at this point? The sisters are well aware they close encountered a bunch of drawings up while in a trance. It's too bad it was with charcoal and not mashed potatoes, though. Then, at least after all the craziness passed, the mashed potatoes would have provided a nice treat.
You're talking about betraying father. In public. I like my head where it is.
A good chunk of this series involves scenes of rich kids trying to decide whether or not they should let the world know their daddy allows child murderers to roam free. For the love of David Zaslav, who thought this would be entertaining material for a show involving one of Warner Brothers' largest IPs? The simple blandness of the Dragon House show is looking better every fucking week this show airs a new episode.
The sisterhood saved you.
You stayed with me. And that saved me just as much as they did.
The point of view sisters have about their brothers. Maybe not as damaging as a mother telling her child that they're always the best, but still falling a little too closely to the "we all deserve trophies" narrative that needs to go away immediately. 1 full minute of people preparing for a political event that wasn't even hinted at in the prior 3 episodes.
It'll blow over.
Stealing your political strategy from Sean James Riley.
You decided to attend.
Based on Constance's inability to simply leave the breakfast table earlier when his father demanded he stay, I'm not sure I believe that Constance has the right or backbone to refuse to attend these festivities.
May his reign shine as long as the stars.
The average star lives between 50 million and 20 billion years. Good luck stretching the reign that long.
The High Council will now hear bills of particulars for submission.
Episode takes 42 minutes and 16 seconds to get to the bills of particulars for submission.
Baron, The members of the High Council are all familiar with the strictures of vendetta. Your house knows the forms better than anyone.
In jokes at High Council meetings.
I can answer that. The Imperial House.
Dune Prophecy attempts to give Inez a Padma Amidala moment in the Senate. And it might have worked great if we'd seen her practicing politics or the Senate in action in the previous 3 episodes. Here it feels deflated and unearned.
Want order?
What was the signal for these guards to bring in the arrested men? Were they just waiting for the child killer to speak at all? Did Inez walk right past them in the hall? This disruption following a disruption feels more like a convenient train wreck than a grand political twist.
I've seen desert owls swoop down and rip soldiers' necks with their talons.
Could we see some of those super cool desert owls? No? Just gonna talk about them briefly?
Then there are the scorpions, the wandering spiders, and the wasps.
Travis Fimmel is absolutely killing this role as Desmond Hart. He's a great antagonist with such a freakish amount of charisma that I'm always intrigued when he's on screen. So I'll remove a sin, just one, and I'm sure I'll be giving it back soon when the show decides to talk about something cool instead of showing it.
Much like how this whole council would have been executed today had rebels detonated this thinking machine as they had planned on doing.
I don't know how thinking machine technology works, but is it safe to smash the robot that was going to detonate like a bomb? I feel like that would, detonate the bomb.
There are predators in our midst.
I wish. I'd even settle for a gremlin or a critter even at this point.
And we need a leader who will chase those predators away.
Attempting to anoint Chris Hansen as your next emperor.
On your order, Your Majesty.
Turning a simple curtsy into the most terrifying f***ing thing I've seen in a while. How am I supposed to ever watch Princess Diaries, or even more importantly, Princess Diaries 2 again? How the f*** did this character's cover remain intact when they caught the guy who sold him the thinking machine? He should be up there burning with the rest of them. They're starting to refer to this event as the Purple Wedding. Not sure where they got that name from. There's not even a wedding taking place, but the execs, the kingdom, the Duners seem to think it will stick. Why didn't Desmond kill Valia at this point? Or at least her nephew? These two were clearly involved in a plot against the Emperor. That's twice now Desmond could have absolutely wiped the floor with her, and for reasons I can't understand, he chose not to. Massaging a child murderer's shoulder without his explicit consent.
You won't be able to silence me like you silenced Dorothea.
Again, Tula didn't silence Dorothea. Valia did. Tula wasn't even present when it happened. Why do characters keep accusing Tula of Valia's crimes?
Lila, you're alive.
Yay? I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling in this show anymore, but I do know what I am mostly feeling is akin to that itch you get when you use a different detergent on your jeans, and then that's the day you decide to go commando. And animosity. I should have just gone with animosity. I feel animosity.
Where am I?
You appear to be standing in a PlayStation VR chat room, Lila.
You took Griffin from us.
All of these houses always want to f*** with Gryffindor, which I get. The one they never f*** with, though, is Hufflepuff, because no one f***ing cares about Hufflepuff. I said no one.
Did I push you too far?
Aside from convincing his brother to get himself killed by an Atreides, discount the good doctor.
I must confer with the High Council.
There was sand.
Sand?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
Captain's log, stardate 2263.2.
The past branded us, but the future can redefine our name.
Future! No one could see beyond this moment.
This means something.
A hard line against thinking machines must be drawn.
The line must be drawn here.